So hi there everyone. Today we'll see how we can create an MVC application. So for that, first let us go to Visual Studio and create a new project. Now let's go to scroll a bit below and you can see ASP.NET Core web app, that is model view controller. So I click this and hit next. So my MVC application name would be, let's say, simple MVC. Now let's change the location and let's say it should be under this. Create a new folder, that is simple MVC. Select this folder. It's been done. Now hit next. And .NET 7 is fine. Do not use top level statements. That is also done. Okay, now create it. So yeah, it's opened. Now let me close this first. So before going into deep, let's first build some packages, like install some packages, NuGet packages for SQL interaction. So I'll go to tools, then NuGet package manager, and then this, the second one. Okay, so it's open. Now let's go to browser and browse for the package. And now let's type entity framework code. It's already giving me Microsoft Entity Framework code. This is the citation. I'll click this and I'll not hit the pre-release one. I'll go for 7.4.8 and select the project and install. Okay, after installing Entity Framework, I need to install the SQL server that comes under Entity Framework. So I'll hit that and again go to 708 and install. Accept this. Now let me install one more package, that is name with tools. So it came. Now 708 and install. Okay, so it's also done. Now let me install the last one, that is design. So it is also entity framework code.design. 708 install. Accept. It's also done. Let me close this and let's see if we, yeah, it's 708 for every packages. So it's done. Now let me go to SQL Server Object Explorer to copy the connection string that we need to integrate with our database to this application. So I'll go to SQL Server, expand this, then select this, the databases. We have hell lot of database here. So I'll create one more, add new database. The name of the database is, let's say, simple MVC. That is done. Okay, so it's been created. Now let me go to properties of this simple MVC. And I'm not getting that connection string. So let me close this. Go again to this SQL Server Object Explorer and right click on this server name and go to properties. Here I should get the connection string. So this is the first thing, is the connection string. I'll copy the name, Control C, and close this. I'll go to Solution Explorer, app setting.json, and here inside allow host, comma, then I'll type inside quotation connection string. The IntelliSense is giving me the suggestions. Then my connection string name, let's say constr, and the connection string, that is this one that I copied. And after this I should write the database name. So it should be database and the name of the database is simple MVC that I just created. With a semicolon, and my appsetting.json is also done. I'll close this. Now let's go to program.cs file. Okay, so inside this program.cs file, in line number 10, after this add controllers with views, I'll hit enter and type builder dot services. I'll add this services, and simple what it is called as dependency. I'll inject my dependency here, so my services spelling is strong. So services dot add SQL server or add DB context. Okay, to add a DB context, for that I need to have a DB context first. So I'll first comment out this and go to my simple MVC here and right click on this. Now I go to add a new class. The class name is, let's say, MVC DB context. I'll type it. Let it load first. So it is MVC DB context. Okay. So it's been created. Now let's. Okay. So now let's type DB context, and that would not throw me an error because I'm already installed this entity framework code. I'll use the global keyword here so that I don't need to add any entity framework code everywhere in the application. The global means if I use global in any using, that means it will reflect all over the project. So it's also done. Now I'll create a constructor, that is I'll type c dot and hit double tap. The constructor of MVC DB context is created, and the constructor will consume the DB context builder, DB context option, sorry, and inside that my DB context name I should pass. So that is also done, and here options, and it is a type of base options. Okay, so it's also done. Now, so let's first add one property, let's say the category one. So I'll create one category property here. So I'll type prop, hit enter, and the type of the property is DB set, and DB set is type of category, and the name is also should be category. Okay, so it's done. Now let me copy. It's throwing me error because I don't have any model named category here. So I'll create one model. Inside models, I'll go and add one class, and name of the class should be category, and add. Okay, this category should have two properties, that is, let's say, public int category ID, and the second one is prop category name, and that is string. Okay, name. Okay, so it's done, and it is throwing me a nullable error. I know that, so I'll go here in the solution or right click on this simple MVC, and here you can see the nullable is enabled. I'll just disable it. Sorry, disable, and save this. Close it. And this will gone shortly. Okay, so I'll use a key here. It is a data annotation, so it should be the ID should be the key. See the name, the below green line is gone, so it's fine now, and this is required. I need this, so I'll use that. So this should be not null in the database. In the database perspective, if this is a table name, this is the first column and this is the second column, and the first column is a primary key. That's why I hit key here, and this is the not null value. This name is the second column that should be not null values. So it is done. If I go to MVC DB context, I have to add this. Go to system quick action refactor and using simple MVC models. So the error is gone. I'll hit save and copy this MVC DB context and go to my program.cs file, uncomment this, and I'll hit the DB context name here, and then inside the first bracket, I'll use options dot use SQL server, and inside that the connection string. So I'll use builder dot get connection string. I guess no, it's not working. So builder dot configuration, yeah, dot get connection string, and inside that get connection string I should pass my connection string name, that is nothing but the const here which I have passed here inside app setting.json, this one. So I'll copy this name, go to program.cs file and paste it here. So it is throwing me error because this is closed and this is also. So for this I have to give a closing bracket as well and hit a semicolon. So it's done. Now let me build this code. Okay, so it's done. Now let me add two more fields that are. Now let me add two more models or properties. Let's say one is brand and the next one is, let's say, add class product. Okay, so product is having property of ID and it is a key here, and the product is public or prop string category name, that is also not null, or that means required here, and its product will have the brand required, then prop double tab, it's a string and it should be brand name. Okay, so and let me add two more things that are, let's say, price required prop in price. Okay, so it's done. So all things are required and this one is the key, primary key. So it's done. Now let me go to brand and first let me copy this one, these two, copy. So brand will have two properties, that is one is ID and next one is the brand name. So I'll hit only the name. Okay, it's also done. Let me save this. Now let me go to MVC context and copy this, copy VP, Control C, Control V, Control V. And now here I will type brand and the name of the table should be brand. And then I have product and the name of the table also should be products. Let's say products. And this is brands and this is categories. Okay, so make it distinguish. So it is done. Now save this. Okay, so my code is done. I have a DB context file and I have the properties here, which is already created as a properties inside this model. And we have an app setting.json. Inside that, we have the connection string of the database. Then we have program.cs file where we just add the dependency of the DB context file, inject the MVC DB context here inside this line. Now, let me go to tools and do the code first approach. The database, inside the database, the tables will be created automatically by the entity framework. I don't need to do anything on that. So I'll go to tools, then NuGet package manager, and then package manager console. So let it open first. So it's been opened. Now let me type add migration, and the name of the migration is first migration. This is the name, let's say, and I'll not give any DB context name here and with this context, and the name of the DB context is, let's say, this, but it is not needed here as of now because we don't have in too much DB context file, or we don't have two, more than 2 DB context file. If we have more than 2 DB context files, then it is hard for the entity framework to distinguish which one we need to perform, which operations we need to perform. But as we have just 1 DB context, so we don't need the context. This need not to be written. I'll remove this and just hit enter. Let's see. Okay, it create me a migration.cs file. If I open this CS file, it says create table. The name of the table is brands, and ID is an integer type. It is an identity 1, 1. Okay, and this is a string type in varchar max. Similarly, this ID is a primary key of the table, and similarly, same with the categories. Same goes with categories. Here, this is max in varchar. This ID is the primary key, the product. So here it is okay, and all the nullables are false. So it is not null for all the products and categories and brands. So it's done. So let's go to package manager console again and database. Okay, if I hit enter, it says update is not recognized. So I might have missed the command. So I'll go this and remove the first part and type update dash database. Okay. If I hit enter, let's see what it will. So it's built. Okay, so it's done. It says it's done. Let me test it. So I'll go for new query inside, and let me type select star from categories and hit enter. So okay, it's from, run this. So it's giving me ID and name. Let me change it to brand and hit it. It says ID and name as well. And for products, it gives me ID, category name, brand name, and price. Okay. So my tables are being created. Let's not do anything here more, and we close this. So let me close the migration as well. I don't need it. I don't need it too. Upsetting replication, I don't need it. Category, don't need it. MVC, don't need it. Program.cs file, as of now, don't need it. Okay. So here, in the controller, this is the home controller for me. So before we, let me close this and minimize this. In the home controller, if I open this, inside home controller, we have this method, and this is the method. So index method is calling the home itself, and this is a view for index, and we have privacy. This is the method, and the view for privacy is this one. Okay. So as you know, MVC stand for model view controller. So home controller is my model, and inside my model there are several methods. This is the index method, this is the privacy method, and every method is interacted with one view, that is this one. So if I go for index and go to view, I'll come up here. This is just index.chtml page where the C# and HTML contents are there simultaneously. So this is model, view, and controller. And where is my model? The model is nothing but this one. All the properties I have brand, category, and product. And this is pre-built model I have. So okay. So it's so that's how it's come. Now I have my home controller here. Let me create my another controller, that is, let's say, the category one. So I'll go for add and then controller. I'll go for MVC controller with views with entity framework. So I'll not create my controller with my like I will not create controller mine myself. Entity framework will help me on this. So it says model class. Which model class I need to add here? It is if for category controller, I need to have a category model class here. The DB context file is already says as MVC DB context. That is also fine. So it will create me generate views, user layout page, and reference script library. Okay, fine. Categories controller. So that is also fine. I'll add. So now it would be scaffolded with the entity framework code, and it will create me eventually the model controller, the category controller itself with the methods and the view inside it. Okay. Okay, so my category controller is done. Here it is having MVCDB context. Uh, it is taking a private read only as MVCDB context. It initializes the underscore context to a context inside the constructor. And we having a categories get method that is the index file of us. Then we have this post method. No, this is also the get method with asynchronous keyword here. It will return me the view, and view is not but nothing but the category itself. And then we have this create method. This is also get, and then we have the create for the post method. Then we have the create method for the post call. Okay, then the edit, it's the get call. Then we have the post call of edit, and finally I think we have the delete one. And if you can see here, the link query is also getting written. So everything is done. I need not to do anything. That's why I love entity framework so much. So now let me go to program.cs file, and it says in the below, okay, the model controller route is nothing but controller is home and action is index and then ID. Okay, so for the home it's index. Now let me go to views here, and inside the shared view we have this layout. If I click this layout, see we have home, the ASP controller is home and index is ASP action. Then we have the PVC, and the ASP controller is home for the PVC action. Okay, so I will just copy this and create two more controllers, two more action method and ASP controller. So I'll do that V, control V, and control V. So here my ASP controller should be category, and my action should be index. Similarly, my for the next one, it should be brand, and ASP action should be index, and the last one is product. The action should be index for this as well, and this is nothing but the name should be category, and this name should be brand, and this one should be products. Okay, so it's fine. I'll save this and close this. I don't need it anymore. So now I'll create two more controller real quick. So I'll hit go to controller. This is for the brand, and okay, so it's done. So fine. Now let me add one more. Add controller with views and entity framework. Add. This should be product. Remaining are same. So I'll hit enter. Okay, so it's also done. So for the product to get created, we need to have two things. One is category of the product, and the next thing is brand of the product. Okay, so brand of the product should be coming from the brand table, and category should be coming from the category table. So that we need to add here inside this category, inside this create method. If I go and go to this view of this create, see it is having a form group of brand name and category name. So here I have to add a drop down where the particular list should be shown. So I'll go here inside product, and let me first do one thing, that is I'll create a variable. It should be cat list that means the category list. And here I'll go for underscore context dot categories dot to list async dot get awaited get result. So if I'm not using the asynchronous keyword here or the uh, await keyword, I will use this get awaited and get result to use asynchronous method. So it is done now. For the brand list, I'll do the same. Context dot brands dot to list async, and inside after this get awaited get result. Okay, so it's also done. Now inside this view, I'll go to the view, and here I have to put that particular this data cat list and brand list. I have to fetch this data here inside this create.chhtml. So to get that to take the data from the method to the view, we have to put the data inside a view bag or something. So I'll use a view bag here. So view bag dot cat list equal cat list tab, and the next one is view bag dot brand list equal brand list. So I'll save this, go to create, and here so here I'll do one thing. I'll remove this category name is before input. I'll remove this input section and put a select tag, and inside the select tag I'll give a name equal let's say category name, and then I'll have class equal form select, then I'll have the ASP item that need to be inside the select method. Select tag is, I'll hit an at the rate, and inside that at the rate, oh, what is happening? Okay, inside this at the rate, I'll do new select list, and inside the new select list, it should be view bag. Okay, dot cat list, and select list will have this for overload. So it is having the cat list, then it will have the value, and then it will have the text, and the V should be capital here. Okay, value and the text. So it is done, and I'll do this cosmetic changes here. Okay, so it is done for me for this select for this category, and for the brand as well. I'll copy the first line and remove this one and paste it here, and here it should be control C, name is this, form select is the controller. uh, this should be Let's say where is the thing? It's brand list, copy, comes here, paste it, value test, select. Okay, okay, that is done. But I think I have missed something. That is, I'll enter this and put options tag here and paste this thing inside the options tag. Control X, Control V. So now it is, I think it is fine. And inside the option, there should be a value that has to be selected. So that is coming from this. Okay, so I'll copy the whole thing and paste it here. Sorry, and paste it here. Okay, so I think it's done. Now let me save this and build the code. Let's see how it is coming. Okay, so if I click categories, it's giving me this phone. Let me edit it. The phone is not looking good. So if I edit this, so if I edit this and let me say smart phone and save this. Okay, now let me go to brand. I don't have any brand for the smartphone. So let me create one brand. Let's say Samsung and create. So my category is smartphone and we have one brand that is Samsung. Now let me go and create one product with that. So I'll go for create new. Currently, we don't have any product there in the first page. So now, see the category name is having this select button, select drop down. If I click this select drop down, okay, so here I do not need the categories total, the ID and all. I just need the category name for that only. So I have made this mistake. So it should be underscore context dot categories dot select dot, and then we have select of, let's say c dot name. So that should be fine. And here for the brand as well, let me copy this and put it here. And this, let's say B and dot. Okay. So this will eventually give me the, okay, view bag. I remove that. So view bag dot brand list equal brand list. So let me build this. And we already have a debugger point here. So let's see how it's throwing and how it provide me the result. So it's successfully builded. Now let me go and run this. Okay, so here in this, we are inside our application, the home page. So let me go to category first. Let me add one thing, one more category that, let's say television or TV, or let's say smart TV. Okay, and I'll create this. Okay, so two categories being created, smartphone and smart TV. Now let me go for the brand, and we have Samsung here for the smartphone, let's say, and we will create, let's say OnePlus. Okay, and hit create. So two brands have been created and we have two categories. Now let me add some products here. We have a zero list of product here. So I'll create new. When I hit new button, that debugger point will get hit. It's hit. Now I'll go for the step into run this. Now let's see who count. one is smartphone, one is smart TV. So my list is done. It is having 2 items here inside the list. I'll go for the step into. Now the brand, it will fetch the brand from the database, and I am having the brand as well, Samsung and OnePlus. Okay, it's also done. Now it will return the view. Okay, so here for the first view, let me select this. The create method is not working, the view is not coming. So let me close this first, and let me go to the create view here. Okay, so I have changed something here. I just added the name of and the category dot name of the category, and then the brand for the brand as well, the same thing. Then if I build this code, and now if I run this, so it's opened. Now if I go to category, you can see there are two categories. One is smart TV and one is smartphone. Now if I go to brands, we have two brands as well, Samsung and OnePlus. Then if we go to the products, we don't have any products here, but we will create one. I'll go for the create new. So here we have a drop down list for the category name and for the brand as well, and then we have the price. So I'll select this drop down. See this smartphone and smart TV is coming. This is from the category. So I'll go for smartphone, and the brand I'll go for Samsung, that is coming from the brand table. Now the price should be, let's say, 20,000. That is fine. Now if I create, it's created. The smartphone, the category is smartphone, the brand is Samsung, and the price is 20,000. I forgot to add the name of the product. So pardon me guys for that. But yeah, if you want to edit this, just go here. Let's say I want to add the price. I want to increase the price to 20,000 and save it. It is possible. If I want to go for a new product to add, and let's say smart TV, OnePlus, some value, create. It will create, and if I go for details, it will give me details of that product. Then if I go for back to the list and delete, it will give me the details here and asking me to delete. If you observe this, you can see this is for the product, then the action method is delete, and the product ID is 2. That's why it's 2 is here. So I'll hit the delete button and it will delete it from the database. So if I can go to views, then SQL Server Object Explorer, and here if I select this and go for new query, I'll type select start from categories and hit enter. The query is getting executed. Let me close this. Okay, it is giving me, and the ID is the two products that are smartphone and smart TV. Now if I go for the brands, so it will also give me Samsung and OnePlus. So there are two brands as well. And now if I go for the product, it is giving me one product. The ID is 1 and the price is 30,000, Samsung and smartphone. So yeah, this is done. If you want to see more on this and go into the advanced version of this, please check out my channel. So similarly, like MVC application, if you want to see how we can create an application which is powered by ASP.NET Core and Angular as a front end, so you have to check this video, which is coming in the screen right now. So till then, take care and see you on that video.